The art of asking the questions. There was an incident just yesterday that I had some communication with my friend and worker about the business. And since this questioning is always the basis of how I assess the situation, not just to work with the people and the company, for the company to get better. I did this years as a management consultant, but also living our life. I believe asking the right question, hopefully, is very important because, as I said elsewhere, if you ask the wrong question and try to answer that question, you may not get where you want. You may get the answer of something, but that may not align to what you really want. So to get to know what we really want and be motivated to and persistent to answer the question, to me, is one of the basic way that I see living my life. Why I developed this habit, I'm not sure, but the one thing I can tell is that I've been always curious about the human behavior, why we do what we do. And of course, that applies to myself because I do stupid things. And at the time, I know that's the right thing to do or something of that nature. I'm caught up in some concept in my mind. And then later, oh, what was I doing? It's kind of like similar to looking for things you lost and finding only under the light, only in certain situations that you can't find it. So you have to go back to ask the question, why am I looking that stuff in this area, that area? What did I do? And that questioning may lead us to find the answer. The same is true in my mind. If we keep asking the right question and get to the point of what the core purpose of it, of our living even, that to me is very important. And just recently I posted the video about Steve Jobs' commencement address, and he said three interesting things. I'm not going to go into detail, but his one of the last one actually was interesting. Be hungry and be foolish. That was his recommendation. But to get there, he had two other messages, and I found those three messages correspond to this issue of figuring out what we need to do. And if we ask the right question, or in this case, three points that he was raising, you'll get to certain conclusion. His conclusion was be hungry and be stupid or be full. There's some meaning, I'm not going to go into it, but basically it's trying to help us to reach to that core of the critical issues. And that was his commencement address. That makes sense. So back to my talking about this questioning. The reason why I thought I put one more video on this is that, again, I said there was some difficulty of communication and how to resolve it. So the way to resolve it to me is not push the idea I have, because I'm curious about people's behavior and why they think the way they think and what it may mean. So my attitude is, let me understand why you're asking that question. So I ask something of that nature. Or why do you do this? That lead to the things that we want to get to. So this may sound very unconventional for some people, because people may be used to be told what to do, especially in this case, I'm maybe the chairperson of this company's board. So my voice may weight something bigger, but I don't think that should be, because I'm just curious how organization functions and what may be the reason of their going in certain direction, and I need to understand that. So being engaged with this company, or in the process of being engaged, I'm starting to ask questions, And I said, maybe this is the homework you might want to think about. I think about this way and I have to address this, but what do you think? That was basically the question. So the answer comes back, and then I ask the question again. Okay, that looks interesting. And then I go into probing into the reason of why it happened that way and how does it relate to, let's say, the company's future as well as your future, so that there's a good alignment. And in the meantime, organization is such that you want to have that process understood with others, especially if this is the person having a very important role and leading the company, then the logic has to be very easy to understand. Even the stranger should understand. So it's a clarification process of company's management, and by asking the question. And some people may call it the Socratic method or dialectic method. And I like the term dialectic because it's going back and forth between a person and the other to question with each other or answer each other and probe into the issues so that the clarification is developed. As a leader, we need to do that. As a manager, we need to do it. As an individual, we want to do it so that our action has a good reason, and then you can be resolved in what you believe you do versus what you are told what should be doing. Because there should be some kind of agreement and understanding so that the people, the team, or the others involved in that arena have some clarity so that this person is doing for that purpose and these are the issues happening and this other person is doing this way and this is so. And so that teamwork is developed by having the comprehensible process embedded in the process of their company management. And as I use the word of myself, me and the mini-me, within ourselves, I think there are different voices. So aligning those voices toward the common goal probably is the right way to think. So as much as in the organization to do that, each individual may want to do it so that his view of how he lived had some consistency. And I used the come up with the term life profile, where I explained there are multiple areas to look at, and each of the area you have the answer, and you look at the whole area of how you answer the question. You can synthesize them to see if you are sincerely, truly living your life. And those 6 areas I pointed in one of the videos called the life profile is living truthful and sincerely, and areas of the work, hobby, relationship, health, finance, and something like that. You can add more to it, but you have those 5, 6 areas covered by asking the question and reviewing what you are doing and see if it's consistent to the total goal of how you live your life. So clarification, comprehensiveness, easy to understand is the basis of this approach, and we can communicate within ourselves and with others, and as a whole organization, the organization will get better. You might think this would take time because everybody is coming from different background and experience and so forth. So my idea may be idealistic, but that's what I proposed. And one of the concepts related to that was the mini company and the gradual management activity. I'm not going to go into detail, but basically, to say it short, mini company is empowerment and accountability. So you want to be able to express your desire of running your mini company within the big organization so that you can share with your group of people who are the employee of your mini company, let's call it. They understand the purpose of the mission, who are the customers, suppliers, what are the key performance indicators, what are the key projects, and how they are functioning to address that, so that everybody knows the cause and effect relationship of if you do this and succeed and satisfy the customer, and it helps to achieve the KPI, key performance indicator, that should help the customers, and you being the customer yourself, you can achieve the mission. So that's the concept of the mini company. And if you have the glasswall management, that those key information is made visible for everyone, then the whole setting of the organization is there. And I spent 35, 40 years doing this in various companies around the world. And I'm practicing for myself with this idea of the life profile. And I'm talking to this new group of people in the new company I'm working with, and to set up the stage such that the whole organization start to clarify the purpose, the mission, and the customer orientation, and have the KPI in the project, and have a system of plan to check act in a continuous process of probing into the issues and solving the problem, or starting with check what's going on, and act, analyze, and figure out to develop a plan and execute, and then check the result and continuously doing. So what I said has lots of stuff in it, if you were to look into and to digest. And I may be doing this job too quickly, but for the sake of just laying out the basic ideas of how I may approach a company and develop the sense of people having ownership and accountability as the mini company president, and therefore we extract the energy and interest of each person in the process that basically answer the questions: I do this job because of this purpose, and these are the reasons, and these are the way that I monitor the progress in terms of key performance indicators and the project, and this is how it's organized. And if everyone in the organization can do that in different degrees, but with the idea of the mini company, so that they relate to each other as bankers and employees, or customers and suppliers, the whole organization developed the common message of how to approach this. So asking the question, I think that was the basics of why I started this video. And the answer to that, of that question of why I asked that question, is to get to the root of our existence, so to speak, so that you can reflect on what you've been doing and figuring out what can be done better, given the environment and the structure and so forth. And if we can do that successfully, each person may find his way of living his life in his company as an employee or manager or the CEO, as well as individuals with a life profile kind of idea. So there's certain alignment developed. So asking the question is critical. Each of us is to do that every day. And maybe just to end this video, I'll just say something about how I felt by reading this email from this recipient of my questioning of what may be your job and how you want to approach it. The reflection on my part is that I believe the questioning is good and the answer was somewhat unexpected. So we need to figure out how to align the basic message of what I was feeling in terms of the plans that this person may develop by going through the PDCA, CAPD, and check, act, plan, do cycle, reflecting, and putting the information together. That's the first step. So when I received this email, Okay, I asked the question, she answered this way. Now we have to massage this so that her answer and my expectation, so to speak, by asking the question, what's the reason why am I asking the question, and have some alignment so that the two of us can communicate better to arrive at certain profile of this person as the president of the mini company, so that she and, or in this case, a woman, and I can align our thought. Okay, this is what you say and this is what you feel. I understand that. So my next question is, what about this way, and how do you see it connected to that in your answer to this question you replied with this email? So that's the beginning of the dialogue. And this has to go back and forth in dialectic kind of process, the Socratic method. And you can check on the dialectics and Socratic method, and there's a questioning patterns. And depending upon the situation, the question may be different. But the aim is the same, that we want to align our way of achieving certain things because we are working together, so that each of us may have a different viewpoint, but let's see how we can consolidate or integrate and synthesize so that we understand each other and develop a way moving forward by going through the PDCA or CAPD, the cycle of the continuous improvement. So we agree upon the plan. Before that, we agree upon the process and develop the plan, and then execute and check the result and go to the next step. So that going through several rounds, usually 2-3 rounds of going through this question and answer and clarification, things get better, usually. And that's my experience, and that's the process. And I'm just summarizing some of the thought in this video, why I have been doing, so that I understand the person's, their desire, the wish, what they want to do, and what they don't want to do, as much as for the organization's wish of what to do and what we want to do, and therefore the alignment may be established. That's a problem-solving process to clarify the communication process, but at the same time, develop an understanding of the uniqueness of each individual, the way of functioning, so that each of us can learn, hopefully, by going through this process. I believe what I'm doing in this video series is pretty much like that. Keep constantly asking the question. Each event pops up and come up with certain answer that provide opportunity to clarify the issues. So each step is asking and solving and clarifying, in my case using the YouTube for certain subject. And as I may have produced those videos even about expect the unexpected, for example, and many others, but expecting the unexpected is also about questioning if we are doing the things and if we have covered all we can, but still, if we have the attitude of expect the unexpected, we have this openness, flexibility, and the engagement of us to do our best. Instead of believing everything, we are also asking us to be open to the new future, because that's what life is about. Hopefully, I captured certain point, and if it makes sense for you, that'd be great. If it doesn't make any sense, let's ask the question and let me know what you think, and then we can go into this dialectic process of what I may have missed and what you think should be the way, so that we can communicate. So the whole process of dialogue, question and answer, would help us to understand better. And that's how I see us learning along the way we live our life. Thank you.